Once upon a time, in the green and fertile plains of Punjab, where golden wheat danced with the wind and the rivers sang ancient songs, there lived a young man named Ranjha. He was the youngest son of a wealthy landowner. While his older brothers spent their days managing fields and discussing business, Ranjha preferred sitting beneath the shade of a tree with a flute in his hands. His music was so beautiful that birds gathered around him, shepherds stopped to listen, and even strangers felt peace in their hearts. His family often criticized him. They believed he was lazy because he loved music more than farming. Still, Ranjha never argued. He believed that life was more than wealth and land. He dreamed of a world filled with kindness, beauty, and true love. Everything changed after his father passed away. His brothers divided the family property among themselves, leaving Ranjha with the poorest land. They insulted him, mocked him, and made him feel like an unwanted guest in his own home. One evening, after another painful argument, Ranjha quietly picked up his flute, packed a few belongings, and walked away. He did not know where the road would take him, but he knew he could no longer stay where his heart was no longer welcome. For many days he wandered across villages, forests, and dusty roads. Sometimes generous strangers offered him food, while other nights he slept beneath the open sky. Though loneliness surrounded him, his flute remained his faithful companion. Every melody carried his hopes and his silent prayers. Eventually, Ranjha reached the prosperous town of Jang. There lived Heer, the daughter of a respected tribal chief. Heer was admired not only for her extraordinary beauty but also for her intelligence, courage, and compassion. She treated everyone with respect, whether they were rich or poor. The villagers loved her because she never ignored those in need. One warm afternoon, Heer was returning from her family's fields when she heard the sweetest flute she had ever listened to. Curious, she followed the sound until she found Ranjha sitting beneath a tree with his eyes closed, completely lost in his music. For a few moments she simply stood there, listening. When the melody ended, Ranjha opened his eyes and saw Heer standing before him. Their eyes met, and neither spoke. It felt as though time itself had stopped. Heer finally smiled and asked where he had come from. Ranjha quietly explained that he had left his home after losing everything that truly mattered. Moved by his honesty, Heer offered him work as the caretaker of her family's buffaloes. Ranjha accepted with gratitude. Every day he took the animals to the riverside, where they grazed peacefully while he played his flute. The buffaloes became healthier, and the workers noticed that everything seemed calmer whenever Ranjha's music filled the air. Heer often found reasons to visit the pastures. Sometimes she brought fresh food, sometimes cool water, and sometimes she simply wished to hear the magical sound of his flute. Their conversations grew longer with each passing day. They shared stories, dreams, and laughter. They spoke about kindness, freedom, and the beauty of nature. Slowly, friendship turned into love. The people around them soon noticed the growing affection between Heer and Ranjha. Some servants whispered about them, while jealous relatives became suspicious. Among those who disliked their relationship most was Heer's uncle, Kaido. He was a bitter and selfish man who believed family honor was more important than personal happiness. He secretly watched the young couple and searched for an opportunity to expose them. One afternoon, Kaido caught Heer bringing food to Ranjha near the river. Although the two behaved respectfully, Kaido rushed back to the family with exaggerated stories. He accused Heer of bringing shame upon the household. Heer's parents were shocked. They loved their daughter, but they feared what society would say. In those days, family reputation often mattered more than individual happiness. They forbade Heer from meeting Ranjha again and kept a close watch over her. Ranjha was heartbroken. The peaceful days by the riverside had ended. He waited for Heer, but she never came. Finally, he learned that she had been locked inside the family home. Despite every obstacle, Heer found ways to send secret messages through trusted servants. She promised Ranjha that her love would never change. But Kaido's schemes did not stop there. He convinced Heer's family that the only way to protect their honor was to arrange her marriage immediately. Soon they chose another wealthy man named Sahida as her future husband. When Heer heard the decision, tears filled her eyes. She begged her parents to listen to her heart, but no one dared challenge the traditions of the time. Her cries were ignored. On the day of the wedding, Heer wore beautiful bridal clothes, but her face carried no joy. As the wedding procession left her home, she silently prayed that fate would somehow reunite her with Ranjha. Far away, Ranjha received the heartbreaking news. His world collapsed. Unable to bear the pain, he left everything behind and wandered across the land like a lost soul. Eventually, he became a wandering fakir. He dressed in simple clothes, gave up worldly comforts, and devoted himself to spiritual life. Yet no matter how far he traveled, his heart belonged only to Heer. Years passed. One day, while traveling through villages, Ranjha finally reached the place where Heer now lived as another man's wife. When Heer heard that a holy fakir had arrived, she came to seek his blessings. The moment she saw his face beneath the simple robes, tears streamed down her cheeks. "Ranjha," she whispered. "Heer," he replied. Their reunion was filled with both joy and sorrow. Though years had passed, neither had forgotten the other. Their love had remained untouched by time. Eventually, the truth about Heer's forced marriage became known. Many respected elders realized that she had never accepted her husband willingly. After long discussions, both families finally agreed that Heer and Ranjha should be allowed to marry. News of their wedding spread throughout Punjab. Friends and well-wishers celebrated. It seemed that destiny had finally shown mercy after years of suffering. But Kaido still burned with jealousy. He could not bear the thought of Heer marrying the man she truly loved. Pretending to accept the marriage, he secretly planned something terrible. On the wedding day, delicious food and sweets were prepared for the celebration. Hidden among them was poison. Before the ceremony, Heer was offered the poisoned sweet. Trusting her family, she accepted it without suspicion. Moments later she became weak and collapsed. Panic spread through the gathering. Someone rushed to find Ranjha. When he arrived and saw Heer lying motionless, his heart shattered. He held her hand and called her name again and again, hoping she would open her eyes. With her final strength, Heer looked at him and smiled softly. "Our love will never die." Those were her last words. Overcome by unbearable grief, Ranjha took the remaining poison sweet himself. He refused to imagine a life without Heer. Within moments, he fell beside her. The lovers who had been separated by greed, pride, and cruel traditions were finally united forever. Their tragic story spread from village to village. Poets sang of their devotion, musicians played melodies inspired by their love, and storytellers passed their tale from one generation to the next. Heer and Ranjha became symbols of love that remained faithful despite every hardship. Their story teaches that true love cannot be measured by wealth, status, or family expectations. It demands courage, sacrifice, and unwavering faith. Although Heer and Ranjha could not build the life they dreamed of, their love conquered time itself. Even today, centuries later, people across Punjab and beyond remember their names together, believing that genuine love never truly ends. It lives on in every heartfelt song, every whispered prayer, and every soul that chooses love over fear.